Hello, my name is Ilona, and in this video I just want to talk about something that I think is very interesting. And I've talked about this in other videos as well, and in some lives and some Dutch lives, but I just wanted to just also mention this in a video. And this is about someone mentioned to me, because I believe in the white hats and the black hats and everything that's happening right now. I see this as, you know, the white hats trying to take over, and of course the Great Awakening, people are waking up. But there are, of course, people believing that everything is dark. Everything is the dark energies, and they're just trying to take over this movement, and they're just really in the background pushing things through. You know, this digitalization. They're all trying to push through their all their plans, and we're not watching, we're not paying attention, we're distracted. You know, I understand people thinking like that. So I want to talk about that. And first of all, I, of course, like I've mentioned, see the dark energies and the white energies. I believe the white hats are balanced. So they're not just the counterpart of the dark energies. I believe the white energies have dark and white energy. They're more overbalanced. So we can, as humanity, take the next step in our spiritual evolution. And that's now more balanced, and that we don't have this extreme duality anymore. So that's how I see the white hats. And I understand people thinking like, well, if they were white hats, why haven't they taken over by now? I've also mentioned this in a few videos, that I see this as the ultimate test. This is about the Great Awakening of humanity. If they would have taken over, we would have given, or at least a large part of humanity would have given their power away to the white hats, because they wouldn't have woken up. They wouldn't have realized that they are the ones in charge. They would have just looked, oh, the white hats are taking over. Oh, well, we'll have to give them our energy and our attention. And I think the white hats are here to open up the Great Awakening and to wake up as many people as possible. At least that's how I see things, especially with all the truths coming out. This is really about opening people up, waking people up, and in that way, people taking over their own energy and start creating with, consciously, with awareness. And I think that's the most important thing. So if the white hats would have just taken over, a lot of people wouldn't have understand how deep the dark energies were running the show. And it's really the same coin, you know, the other side of the coin. So to me, the fact that they haven't done that is actually showing that they are not part of the dark energies. And to me, they are the next step in growing for humanity. So they, of course, also have to be aware of what the dark energies are doing, because I do believe a couple of years ago, they still had a lot of damage they could have done. So I do think that the white hats are taking their time, making sure to neutralize the dark energies as much as possible, and waking up people. So they are starting to create consciously, because that's what the Great Awakening is about. And if they would have taken over, swooped in, then a lot of people wouldn't have figured it out. They wouldn't have been in the position to really wake up or start realizing that things aren't what they seem. And I think that's one of the biggest process working now. So if the dark energies were really fully in control, I have to say, I believe we would have been in an awful situation. I believe the plans were to keep us locked up as much as possible. Of course, what happened almost 5 years ago in March, it will be 5 years ago. So what had been happening then, they could have just worked that. They could have just really pushed through then, because a lot of people were not aware then. We have now a larger group of aware people. And I don't think that is what the dark energies want, because they need our energy. And on the spiritual level, the more people are aware, the less you can manipulate them, the less you can take over their energies, because they starting to create their own things, start manifesting what they truly want. And then you won't be able to use that energy anymore. So by creating a larger group of people that are becoming aware, the dark energies are losing their grip, and they're kind of starving because they don't have that energy anymore to create their agendas. I believe that all these agendas are still being pushed. This has to do with showing people what's been going on. People realizing, well, wait a second, this has been happening with the digitalization. We've seen what has happened the past 5 years, or almost 5 years. what can happen, we don't want that anymore. Because if you've told people this 7, 8 years ago, and there were people already aware of what was going to happen, people were just calling them crazy. Oh, that's nonsense, and all these theories, and it's not going to happen, and they wouldn't, restrict us to our houses. They wouldn't ask us to take a sting to, keep our jobs. Not going to happen. They had to experience that. And it opened people's minds. They were like, wait a second, well, if this is true, maybe other things are true as well. And especially all these agendas here in the European Union being pushed through with the digitalization. People are now starting to connect the dots and understanding how deep this is going, and it's waking them up. So, like I've mentioned, I don't think this is what the dark energies want, because they have now a bigger resistance than they had 5 years ago. Doesn't make any sense to keep this on the, behind scenes and trying to push through. That's actually what they've been doing for centuries, pushing things through. But people were not aware of it, and now people are aware. People are seeing it now and connecting the dots. It's just on spiritual level, somewhere they need our, our consent. And if people are taking over their own energies, they're not consenting anymore. And they have a big, big issue trying to push all these agendas through. And I think this is really important to realize. They need us for creating their world, at least what they want. Transhumanism is, of course, the end goal for them. And it's falling apart. But people need to see that that is what they were going for. Otherwise, people are still missing the biggest important thing, that all this technology is being used against people. Technology itself is neutral. It can help you. You can use it for constructive things. You can use it for destructive things. Ultimately, it is about the intention, just like with everything. It's really about how you use things and what is your intention behind it. But ultimately, they will want people completely merged with technology so they can take over. And more important, more people are seeing it. And that's why I think Elon is also pushing, all these things about Neuralink and all these other things. So people are starting to realize how deep the rabbit hole goes, because a lot of people don't even realize what really the end goal is. They are now understanding more of what they can do and what the dark energies wanted to do in taking over the control. But they don't know where it's all going. And that will be important the coming time that people are talking about that. And that's why they are still pushing through those things so people can see it, what they were really trying to do. That's how I see it. Of course, see what resonates with you. But I believe that the dark energies, if they truly had all that power, they would have pushed through by now. They would have done it couple of years ago, because then they had a lot more people still unaware of what they were doing. Now they have a bigger resistance. People are not complying anymore. It's really for them a lot tougher, because they won't be able to use those energies anymore. And it's getting so obvious now. And their biggest strength was that it wasn't obvious, that people were not aware of it. They were working in the shadows. So that is all falling apart. And like I said, I don't believe they're doing this to really, on a very sneaky way, try to push all these things through. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But then again, see what resonates for you. I see this large group of people becoming more and more aware, starting using their own energy. And that is really the most important part of the Great Awakening, is that we are starting to use our own energy, and that we are not afraid to start making our own choices. What do we want? What do we want to create? And when we're doing that, we're not complying anymore. We can be used. We cannot be manipulated anymore. And they really are losing their grip on us. So I'd like to leave it at this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.